Hi, Wawa, and welcome back. Right, we've spoken about the foundational skills for learning, and we've really covered off vestibular in significant detail. And now we're going to move on to another one of these baseline sensory systems that have to happen for school readiness, and that is proprioception. So proprioception is the information that is sent to our brain from our muscles, joints, and ligaments. Okay, so it's really, really important for the development of self-regulation, coordination, body awareness, focus, and even speech. It also helps with postural stability, which is really key for being able to sit still and for being able to write properly. So proprioception is a really key sense that we have to develop. All of these senses must work together in a really integrated way. And the higher the level of sensory integration that we have, the higher the level of cognitive thinking, problem solving, and creativity that we're going to get from children. All right, so again, this is why it's really important that we focus on the right things in early childhood, not just on reading, writing, and maths. So for those children who don't have a great proprioceptive system, they might be the kind of children that are really struggling to sit still. They might be the kind of children that are struggling to focus as well. They might be the ones that they are finding hard to keep their bodies and even their emotions in check. You can imagine then how that might play out in a classroom where you have children who are considered to be disruptive or, not being able to sit still, or the ones who are disobedient or annoying. I mean, all of those are really bad labels to have for a child, and none of them are fair if that child has got an underdeveloped proprioceptive system. So lots of ways that we can develop this proprioceptive system is for heavy lifting kind of exercises. So we could do things, even press-ups are really good for that. Jumping, even if it's just jumping together with 2 feet, jumping on the ground. It might be jumping off a rock wall onto a mat. Those kind of run and crash kind of activities that pretty much anyone with young boys knows about. You could do heavy lifting, so lots of digging in dirt in particular is wonderful because dirt has got so many good properties that help to grow cognitive function. So help to grow your thinking. It helps with immune system and many other things. So you could use digging, you could use using the wheelbarrows, getting out into the garden, lifting and carrying rocks. Tug of war is really good for proprioceptive information. Even rough and tumble games are really good. There's nothing wrong with a rough and tumble game so long as there is some guidelines around those. One of the big ones is if anyone says stop, even if they're laughing, you must stop. So that's normally how we would manage that in a kindergarten kind of situation. Also, if we are going to have rough and tumble games, we need to make sure it's the body, not the fingers. So I've seen a lot of children do this. That's doing nothing at all for our proprioceptive or our vestibular system. It's doing nothing at all. That's no good. Imagine wrestling, not WWF, but the old style kind of wrestling that lots of young boys love to do, and lots of young girls like to do it too. So those are actually really good for helping develop the proprioceptive system. But again, it is really important that we have those boundaries around those kind of games so that everybody can feel empowered in their ability for the game to stop. All right? So those are some ideas on how you can help develop proprioception, and why all of these foundational skills are really key. You might be wondering that surely you can just actually skip all that and get some worksheets out, and surely that's the way to go because they need to know how to read and write before they get to school. Well, actually, they don't. All of the research globally unequivocally states that pushing academics into early childhood is there is no benefit. None. Nada. None. And in fact, actually the research shows exactly the opposite. So what the research is showing us is that those children who have too much structure too early and are pushed too hard too early on early literacy and numeracy are the ones that often become disengaged and fall out of the education system later on. Often they have really low levels of resilience, really low, scarily low. And already in Australia we have very high levels of anxiety. And the COVID-19 situation potentially could make that worse. So we don't need to be adding to that. The research is showing that the early instruction in literacy and numeracy is, surprisingly, the number one cause of anxiety in teenagers. Right? So there's a lot going on here that develops the brain and the whole body ready for structured learning later on in life. Well, later on in their life, when you get to primary school. Okay, so please, if you have any questions, let us know. Again, we'll be putting some more links. I'll put some links to research for those who are really keen on following up all of that. There's some really good links in here to more videos from Nathan Wallace. And Nathan Wallace is a neuroscience educator. And he's one of the world leading authorities on early childhood development, and particularly around the area of anxiety. Right. So thanks for listening. That was proprioception. I think most of the heavy lifting is out of the way. So the next one I'm going to be moving on to is crossing the midline. Okay. Dragon, I'll see you soon.